Hey guys, right, okay, so this is a presentation that I've just done this morning to our coaching club that we have, the Executive Matrix. By the way, if you're ever interested or you want to find out more, do let me know and I will put a link, whenever you're watching this, I'll put a link in there somewhere for you to look, but it's the execmatrix.com. So this is available as a download on my website as well. So it's called the Wheel of Life. Some call it the Life Wheel. And you may have seen this before. Now, the way that I've put this together is that I've made this into a hybrid into some of a coaching framework that I developed. And I want to show you exactly how this works. But what we want to do is we want to break this into sections like this. And in the middle, it represents 0. The top represents 10. So this is basically your life's melting, things aren't working, everything's incredible, couldn't be better. And we're going to look at this and we're going to break it down into sections. And each section will represent a part of your life, a part of your something that's happening right now, the way you feel, etc., etc. So really what we're going to look at is the first one at the top represents emotional. This one at the side here represents physical. Over here, we're going to then move across. We're going to do it for financial. Can't spell. Financial. And we'll come over this side here. We've got spiritual. My writing's great, by the way. We've then got family. And the final one we have is career. Now, the thing that I did this morning was to be able to ask people how they feel in each area of their life. And again, note represents that it's not going anywhere near where they want it to be. In fact, actually, it's worse than bad. And 10 is it couldn't be any better. It's the best it can possibly be. And so, as an example, I'm not going to use anyone's from this morning, by the way, but let's just say, emotional at the minute, you know, we've just come out of lockdown, things are quite challenging, business is struggling, career's getting hard, whatever it is. Emotionally, they're feeling a little bit challenged right now. And they're going to say, do you know what? I feel like a 5 right now. And so what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line over there that represents that 5. Financially, do you know, maybe they've been on furlough, maybe they've been a director and the business has started to suffer, maybe things are going really well, who knows? But we're going to use this as an example. We say financially at the minute, it needs to improve, and they're feeling like they're a 4. So at the minute, 4 is where they are. So again, we're going to do that, and we're going to draw that line as a line there. Career. Now, prior to lockdown, I'm going to use lockdown as a perfect example of this. Prior to lockdown, things were great. Career was really going strong. Took a bit of a dip, but generally speaking, they probably feel about a 6. And we're going to connect that up. Family. Well, they're really hitting the business right now because they've got to get the career firing again. They've got to get the money. They've got to get the financial. They've got to get everything moving right now. So at the minute, they're not really spending too much time with the family. They're back out there. They're grinding. They're making it work. And so at the minute, they feel like maybe a 4 down here. Spiritually, they're a little bit full intense. They're not getting the downtime. They're maybe not doing the yoga. They're not listening to any meditations or doing any meditation. So at the minute, because they're so focused on obviously trying to survive and get back to being able to thrive, then they probably maybe say, let's say they feel a 4 as well on that space. And we're going to connect that one up there. And then finally, physically. So physically, they've looked after themselves throughout lockdown. They've not been the ones that's been raiding the fridge and drinking loads. They've actually spent a lot of time walking, doing exercises. So actually, physically, they're not feeling too bad at the minute. So we're going to say they're going to feel like a 7. And we're going to connect that up there as well. And so what you've got there then is a bit of a graph that's going to show you what's happening in their life right now. It's going to show you the things that's happening, the areas that they need to work on. And I'm going to use a different pen and I'm going to connect all these up so you can see. So if we use that one there, and I'm going to connect this one here, like so. And I'm going to bring it down like this. And I'm just going to colour it in. Okay. So there you can go. There you can see rather. Now, the question that I ask people always when I use this as an exercise is, imagine if that was an actual wheel on your car right now. Well, one thing's for certain is that you would be in for a very, very bumpy ride. But it's also good because it shows you areas that you need to spend time, areas that you need to improve, things that you need to enhance and get better. So you look at the emotional side. You know what? I need to maybe start to spend a bit more time in this spiritual space Because if I start being a little bit more relaxed, a bit more calm, maybe meditating, maybe doing yoga, actually emotionally, I might start to feel better. Financially, do you know what? I am suffering there a little bit more. So do you know, I need to be able to, maybe I need to stop spending, which will allow my finances to be able to stabilize maybe. Or maybe I need to actually start spending more time at work, developing that career, do you know, because if I start to develop this space will start to rise and lift as well. Now, the downfall to this is that when you start putting more time into the career and into the financial side, well, as a default, the family time starts to decrease. So it's something that you've got to be very mindful of. So if you can put a plan in place, it allows you to spend more time with your family. So it gives you that protected time that makes it viable and valuable if you put it in the diary and you make it real. Now, what I then do with this, and this is one of the things we did this morning, I'm just going to rub this off, is I've built a framework. You may have seen me talk about this before. I've talked about it many times, but it's called ARK, A-R-K. Well, like this, ARK. And what ARK represents, I'll use a different pen actually because you can't really see that, can you? So ARK. And what ARK is, it's an acronym for the framework that I've created. So A represents what it is that you want to achieve. The R represents the reason why you want to achieve it. And the C is the creation. What are you going to do? And this is why it's super important to use this wheel of life, because it helps you to identify areas that you want to spend time, that you want to start to develop. So it tells you the areas that you want to improve. What do you want to achieve? So let's say, for example, that you want to, I don't know, maybe you want to increase your fitness. You want to get your physical up. Okay, cool. So I want to get my physical to a higher standard. I want to feel better, look better, and be healthier. But you can't be vague on this. You've got to be very, very clear about what that actually looks like. So it might be saying, well, actually, you know what? I want to lose some weight. I want to feel healthy. That's not good enough. We need to get into the depth of that. So it has to have, we've talked about SMART goals in the past, but it has to have very specifics what back this up. So it's going to be, I want to lose 1 stone of weight, but I want to lose it by, let's say, the end of September 2020, just to make sure it's not next year. I want to lose 1 stone of weight by the end of September 2020, and let's give it the date. So I want to be able to weigh myself on the 30th or the 31st. I forget how many dates are in September. The 30th or the 31st of September, and I'm going to do that at 9 a.m. And I want to be able to see that I have lost a stone in weight by that time. Now, anyone can say that. Like, anyone can get into the mechanics and into the detail, but how many times have we said that we want to do this in the past and it's never happened? How many times have we said we want to try to achieve something in the past and it's never happened? Now, the reason that it's not happened is because you don't have a reason for it to happen. There's no desire. There's nothing driving you. So just saying that I want to do it because I want to feel better is not always necessarily going to be a driving force that's going to make you get up and go and do something about that. It's not going to be enough to hold you. It's not going to drive you. It's not going to empower you. So it needs to be something more empowering that. Now, it might be that, you know what, you want your clothes to fit better. So if you feel uncomfortable with your clothes, then there's enough desire, if there's enough pain there, it will drive you to make a difference. It will drive you to make a change. It might be that. It might be that actually you are concerned about your health. Unfortunately, as human beings, I was having this conversation yesterday with a client. Unfortunately, as human beings, we generally wait until something becomes painful before we do something about it. We wait until we get that medical diagnosis of a major problem before we change our habits. We wait until the car breaks down before we get it fixed, although we've had an engine management warning light on for 6 months prior to that. We wait for things to become painful. So what is it that's going to create that pain? What's the reason? What's the biggest driver that's going to make a difference? Is it that you want to turn heads? You want to turn heads like you did when you were 21? What is it? What's the thing that's going to drive you? And then once you've got the reason in place, you then need to take some action. So you need to create the steps to move forward. And I always suggest that if you can create 3 simple steps that's going to allow you to move forward, it creates momentum. And that momentum is enough then to keep you moving forward. So let's use this as an example here and say, right, I know that I'm not motivated enough to go to the gym every day. So the first thing I need to do, I need to hire a PT. I need a personal trainer that's going to kick my ass and make sure I do the things that I want to do. Next up, I need to then speak to a dietitian. So that might be the PT, but I want to make sure that I'm eating the right food. I don't want it to be a fad. I don't want a diet. I want nutrition advice. I want somebody that's going to make me something that I can use for the rest of my life, not something that's a flash in the pan that I'll get bored of after 4, 5, 6 weeks, because that's how I've worked in the past. I want something that's going to tie me into this. And then it might be I want to buy, some new gym clothes, some gym gear. And let's face it, for everyone that's done the gym and looked after themselves, if you start eating right, if you start wearing the right stuff, you start to feel better already. You start to feel like you're healthier. You start to feel, and the feeling's the important thing. Like you start to feel good, and actually you feel good. You start to think good. You start to feel good. So it's really important that you have these steps in place. This is the ARC framework that I've created. It allows you to really get massive amounts of leverage over yourself, and then you can tie this back into the wheel of life. Guys, I hope you've liked it. If you do enjoy it, leave a comment. If you know somebody that needs to see this, do share it or tag them into it and let them know. But this is something that applies to all of us, whether you work for a business, whether you run your own business, whether you're advancing your career, or maybe you're not working at all at the moment and you need to find a way to get a job. There's something that you want to achieve. What's the reason that you want to do it? How are you going to go and do it? Like, this is important stuff. Guys, I hope that is useful. I know it is useful, rather. In fact, I know it's useful. My clients use this and it works. Guys, put it to practice. Do share it. Do tag people into this. Let me know if there's anything else that you need. Until next time, guys.